There is something that perhaps many men who have passed the threshold of their 30s and 40s and have experienced some ups and downs in life and relationships often wonder about. That women after divorce are either lacking something or trying to make up for the years they feel they lost. Some think these women simply want a man with money to stabilize their lives again. Others assume they will be more sexually permissive or craving short-term, no-strings-attached relationships just to feel attractive again. But if you have ever truly had a deep conversation with a divorced woman, especially a woman between the ages of 35 and 50, you will realize a very different truth. They are not looking for rescue, they are not looking for games, and they are certainly not looking for gain to temporarily fill an emotional void. What they are searching for is, in fact, far more subtle and mature than what most men assume. After divorce, most women do not become weaker. On the contrary, they become more clear-minded. They have been through a serious relationship. They have trusted, sacrificed, and been disappointed. Those experiences change the way they view love. They no longer approach it with the dreamy innocence of their 20s. They no longer love out of ignorance. They love with discernment. This is critically important for men to understand, because if you approach them using old tactics, shallow promises, or surface-level performances, you will be seen through very quickly. One of the biggest misconceptions is that divorced women care only about money and financial stability. It is true that after a failed marriage, many women value stability more than before. But stability does not mean dependence. In reality, many divorced women are financially self-sufficient, often stronger and more independent than they were before marriage. What they are looking for is not a provider, but an equal partner, someone who can build a life with them, share responsibility, and walk alongside them, rather than someone who uses money to control or purchase emotional security. Another damaging misconception is the idea that divorced women are more sexually available. The truth is often the opposite. Having been hurt before, they are far more cautious about opening up and becoming intimate. For them, intimacy is no longer something that comes first as an experiment. It is the result of trust built over time. They need to feel emotionally safe before allowing anyone into their private space. A man who is impatient, pushy, or dismissive of boundaries will usually remove himself from consideration very quickly. There are also many men who believe divorced women seek younger, more attractive partners as a way to get back at the past or prove they still have value. But most mature women are no longer interested in relationships that are out of sync in life stage. They understand that lasting attraction does not come from age or appearance alone, but from shared experience, values, and rhythm of life. A man who understands midlife, career pressure, children, health concerns, long-term finances, and the future often creates a much deeper sense of connection than a younger man with energy but little depth. Another misconception is that divorced women are rushing to find a new relationship to fill a void or remarry as soon as possible. In reality, many of them are not in a hurry at all. They have learned the hard lesson that commitment without sufficient understanding and healing only leads to repeating old mistakes. As a result, they allow themselves to move slowly, observe carefully, and prioritize inner peace over grand promises. So, if it is not money, not casual sex, and not emotional games, what are divorced women truly looking for in a new man? The first answer, and the foundation of everything else, is emotional maturity. A man who can honestly reflect on his past relationship, acknowledge his mistakes, and speak about what he has learned, creates far more safety than a man who constantly blames his ex-wife or circumstances. Divorced women are highly sensitive to signs that a man does not truly understand himself, because they do not want to become someone else next. Lesson. Alongside emotional maturity is trust and emotional safety. These are not built through words, but through consistency in action. Showing up on time, keeping promises, respecting boundaries, not disappearing and reappearing unpredictably, not playing hot and cold games. For women who have experienced betrayal or loss, behavioral consistency is more attractive than poetic romance. They want to know that the man in front of them is someone they can rely on, not someone they must constantly guess about. What they seek next is genuine companionship. Not just someone to have dinner with or travel with, but a true life partner. Someone who can have deep conversations, share perspectives, laugh together, struggle together, and grow together. At this stage of life, sex may still be important, but it is no longer the center. What keeps two people together long-term is the feeling of being understood, respected, and able to be oneself in the other's presence. Respect and empathy are also essential. A man who can listen to her divorce story without judgment, comparison, or rushing to offer solutions often creates a far stronger connection than someone who pretends to understand everything or tries to fix her. Divorced women do not need a hero to rescue them. They need a companion who is sensitive enough to understand that healing is personal and takes time. Stability is something they value, but stability does not mean boredom. A man with a balanced life, who takes care of himself, has his own passions, and still maintains warmth and romance in a relationship is deeply attractive. Romance here does not mean grand gestures, but steady care, meaningful conversations, and the ability to keep the relationship alive through genuine presence. Another factor many men underestimate is healthy vulnerability. Mature women are no longer drawn to men who pretend to be strong and emotionless at all times. They appreciate men who can open up, speak honestly about their fears, pressures, and desires, while still remaining grounded. Proper vulnerability creates connection. Excessive defensiveness creates distance. Clear communication about the future is also very important. Divorced women do not necessarily want to remarry immediately, but they need to know where the man in front of them stands in life, what he wants, and whether he is capable of building a serious relationship. Prolonged ambiguity often causes them to walk away, not because they are demanding, but because they no longer want to waste time or emotional energy. Finally, what ties all of these qualities together is kindness combined with confidence. A kind man without clear boundaries often fails to create safety. A confident man without kindness is quickly recognized as selfish. Divorced women seek balance, a man who knows who he is and what he wants, while still being compassionate and respectful enough to build a healthy relationship. In summary, divorced women are not looking for a man to fill a void, nor are they seeking a temporary adventure. They are looking for a genuine partner, someone who can build long-term happiness with them on a foundation of equality, understanding, and maturity. And interestingly, the kind of man they seek is rarely a perfect one, but rather someone who is consciously and continuously working on himself. For men over their 30s, the message here is clear. If you want to attract a divorced woman, start by understanding yourself, healing old wounds, and learning to communicate honestly. Do not try to become someone else to impress. Become the best version of yourself, stable but not rigid, confident but not controlling, and deep enough to walk alongside a woman who has lived through many seasons of life. If you can do that, there is a good chance you are exactly what she is looking for, even if you never thought you were. If this video made you pause for a moment and reflect, then it did what it was meant to do. At this stage of life, we're not chasing excitement anymore. We're looking for clarity, emotional peace, and a connection that actually makes life better, not more complicated. If you've dated before, or if you're currently getting to know a woman who's been through a divorce, share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Chances are, what you've learned could help another man avoid unnecessary misunderstandings. And if conversations like this resonate with you, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll keep exploring real psychology, healthy midlife relationships, and what it truly means to grow, not just older, but wiser. Thanks for spending your time here. Take care of yourself, stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next video.